colony ship Eden's Promise was designed to carry life across the stars. Not just humans, forests, microbes, seeds from 1,000 worlds. Entire ecosystems carefully balanced inside a floating artificial paradise. It was supposed to be perfect, self-sustaining, untouchable by failure. And for the first 11 years of its journey, it was. The hydroponic towers grew endlessly. Alien flora adapted beautifully. Water cycles remained stable. Oxygen levels stayed flawless. The ship became proof that life could be engineered, controlled, perfected. Until the day everything started dying. It began quietly. A single agricultural dome reported a 2% drop in plant efficiency. Nothing alarming, just a minor fluctuation. But within 48 hours it spread. Leaves yellowed. Root systems weakened. Entire crop layers collapsed like dominoes. The scientists were confused. This shouldn't happen. The nutrient flow is optimal. Light cycles are correct. Atmosphere is stable. Everything was perfect. And yet, everything was failing. Within a week, panic set in. Oxygen production dropped by 9%. Food reserves were projected to last only 6 months. Emergency protocols activated. Teams ran simulations, recalibrations, chemical adjustments. Nothing worked. Because the problem wasn't in the system. It was in what the system didn't have. Deep in Maintenance Sector C, a man named Daniel Reyes continued his routine shift. Official title, sanitation technician. Unofficial reality, the guy nobody noticed. He cleaned filters, repaired waste lines, maintained the unimportant parts of the ship, the parts no scientist ever visited. Daniel wasn't supposed to be involved, but he noticed something strange. The waste recyclers were backing up. Not mechanically, biologically. Organic breakdown rates had slowed, not stopped, just weakened, like something was missing. He frowned. That's weird, because decomposition was life, even in waste. He ran a manual check. Microbial counts low. Diversity index dangerously low. That didn't make sense. The ship had perfect lab-grown microbial cultures, engineered for efficiency, optimized, controlled. And suddenly, Daniel understood the problem. Too perfect. He requested access to Agricultural Command. Denied. He requested again. Denied again. So he did something no one expected. He walked in anyway. The scientists barely noticed him. They were too busy trying to save an ecosystem that was collapsing in real time. Daniel stepped up to a console. Your soil's dead. One scientist snapped. It's not soil. It's a hydroponic substrate. Yeah, Daniel said. That's the problem. They stared at him like he'd just insulted their entire education. This system was designed by the top minds of 5 civilizations. Daniel shrugged. And none of them were farmers. Silence. Tension. Then irritation. Explain yourself, the lead biologist demanded. Daniel crossed his arms. You built a perfect system. Clean, controlled, efficient. Yes, but real life doesn't work like that. He pulled up microbial data. You don't have chaos. That's intentional. It's killing you. They didn't like that answer, but they didn't have a better one. Fine, the biologist said. What's your solution? Daniel hesitated, because what he was about to suggest sounded ridiculous. I need dirt. The room went quiet. Dirt? Actual soil. From Earth. That's contaminated material. It's alive, Daniel corrected. The council refused at first. Earth soil was considered unstable, unpredictable, full of uncontrolled organisms. Exactly what the ship was designed to avoid. But systems kept failing. Oxygen dropped again. Food projections worsened. And desperation has a way of making people listen. Do it, the captain finally ordered. Daniel went to storage. Because he knew something most people didn't. There was a small crate on board. Unregistered. Personal cargo. Inside it was soil. Real soil. From Earth. From his grandmother's farm. He had brought it for one reason. Memory. Not science. Not survival. Just home. He carried it into the failing agricultural dome. The scientists watched like he was about to commit sabotage. This will either save us, or contaminate everything. Daniel smiled slightly. Same thing sometimes. He opened the container. The smell hit the air instantly. Rich, organic, alive. Some scientists recoiled. That's foul. Daniel shook his head. That's life. He knelt down, took a handful, and mixed it into the sterile substrate. First, nothing happened. Minutes passed. Hours. Then the sensors flickered. Microbial activity rising. Diversity index increasing. Unexpected organisms interacting. Is that competition? One scientist whispered. Yeah, Daniel said. And cooperation. Within 24 hours, the plants responded. Roots strengthened. Color returned. Growth resumed. Within 72 hours, the system stabilized. Not perfect. Better. Stronger. Alive. The ship didn't just recover. It evolved. Because Earth's soil wasn't efficient. It wasn't controlled. It was messy, chaotic, full of billions of organisms fighting, helping, adapting. It didn't prevent failure. Survived it. The lead biologist approached Daniel days later. I don't understand, she admitted. We engineered perfection, and it failed. Daniel leaned against the wall. Because perfection breaks. He picked up a small handful of soil. This survives. She looked at it differently now. Not as contamination, but as something ancient, something wiser than design. What do you call this principle? She asked. Daniel smiled. Back home, we just call it dirt. Weeks later, the entire ship adopted the change. Every dome, every ecosystem, integrated with real soil, real microbes, real chaos, and the ship thrived, stronger than before. In the official report they wrote, Uncontrolled biological diversity introduced stability. But among the crew, they told a different story. They said, when everything failed, a janitor saved the ship. And Daniel? He went back to cleaning filters, fixing pipes, doing the quiet work no one noticed. Except now, every time someone walked through a green, thriving dome, they remembered, life doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be alive. And sometimes, the smallest, messiest, most overlooked thing is what saves everything.